Good morning and a very warm welcome. You are watching Janata Television and this is the English Bulletin with me, Anustha Acharya. The top stories first. Prime Minister Baishakh alliance formed to protect democracy. Maoist chairman blames Myanmar for citizenship-related problem. Political parties intensify election campaign. Election Commission Judicial Code of Conduct. On the lunar circuit, since arrival of more European tourists, domestic tourists are also rising the area considered top 10 destinations in the world. Women and children evacuated from Azovstal still work in Mariupol. Ukrainian forces are still holding out the plant. And Liverpool shares poles with Spurs. City can top the table if they beat Newcastle today. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba has said that the political parties were compelled to forge an alliance after UML chairman KP Oli attempted to impose an authoritarian rule. The Prime Minister reiterated that the coalition government is necessary to protect democracy, federalism and the constitution. Speaking at an election assembly in Janakpur on Saturday, Deuba said that the NC General Assembly has endorsed the party's decision to form an alliance and therefore urged the party rank and file not to raise this issue, stating that the residents of Tarai Madhes were facing problems related to citizenship. Deuba pledged to resolve the matter soon. Meanwhile, CPN Maoist Center Chairman Pushpakamal Dahal said that the citizenship-related problems remained unsolved after the UML obstructed the parliament proceedings, saying it is not distributing citizenship certificates to the children of the parents having Nepali citizenship cards was an injustice. Dahal explained that the issue could not be resolved through ordinance as the court has asked them to resolve the problem through decision in the parliament. The silence period for the May 13 local election begins from coming Tuesday. It means that there is only a few days left for election campaign. Political parties have intensified their election campaign from villages to cities. Poll candidates are busy visiting door to door seeking votes. A report. With the preparation for the May 13 local level election coming to a final phase, political parties are busy in election campaign while the Election Commission has tightened its screw against the breach of election code. The Commission has sought clarifications from parties based on its on-site monitoring and put measures to check activities against election code of conduct. The Commission informed that it has sought clarifications from different political parties, ministries, leaders and candidates and has also issued directives for the effective implementation of election code of conduct. According to the information received by the Commission, the incidents of code of conduct violation are sporadically taking places in different places. The EC had also sought clarification from Kathmandu Metropolis mayoral candidate from CPN-UML Keshav Sthapit for his expression against another contender Balen Shah. Chapter 3.5 of Election Code of Conduct 2078 BS has stipulated the conduct for the election. According to the Code of Conduct, the public officials should not be involved in publicity campaign for and against any political party and candidates. The Election Code of Conduct also prevents the approval for any other program except the ones included in the annual budget. Likewise, programs such as laying foundation stone or inauguration of any planned project, survey, study and grants distributions among other are prohibited in the election. Election Commission has deployed central monitoring teams in different districts that are sensitive in terms of security provision and having large number of voters. A report. The Election Commission has deployed the central monitoring teams in 17 different districts under the leadership of joint secretaries working in different ministries and bodies. According to the Commission, the teams have been deployed as per Clause 5 of the Election Commission Act 2073. The teams have been assigned to monitor the expenses of the candidates during the poll campaigns, implementation of the election code of conduct, credibility and fairness of the election, and other issues. An orientation program was organized for the members of the central monitoring teams on Saturday in the EC's central office. On the occasion, Chief Election Commissioner Dinesh Kumar Thapalia directed the officials to work for the effective monitoring without being biased in order to conduct the May 13 local level poll in a free, fair, and credible manner. The teams are also given rights to take any decision or action on the spot after carrying out the monitoring of the election code of conduct. Chief Election Commissioner Thapalia asked the team to take the situation under control by coordinating with the District Administration Office, Office of the Chief Returning Officer, and other agencies in case of any untoward activities targeted to destabilize the voting process and the vote count, adding that it was the EC's responsibility to ensure citizens' right to cast votes. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back. After the break, we continue with other national news. The government yesterday confirmed 22 new cases of COVID-19 across the country. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, the number of active cases of COVID-19 has dropped to 400 after 456 people recovered from the disease. So far, a total of 978,925 people have tested positive for the virus in Nepal, while 966,730 people have already recovered. No new death from the virus was reported yesterday. The death toll from the virus remains constant at 11,951. Nepal is currently among top 64 countries affected by coronavirus. USA tops the list with 83.56 million cases, followed by India with 43.10 confirmed cases. The virus has infected more than 516.97 million people worldwide and has claimed over 6.27 million lives. More than 6,000 foreign tourists, mostly Europeans, have visited Manang district since the beginning of the current fiscal year 2021-22. The Annapurna Circuit, which is one of the major tourist attractions of Nepal, has welcomed 6,584 European tourists. Among them, French tourists constituted the highest number at 801, followed by the 699 German tourists. Similarly, tourists from other countries such as Israel and UK and India, among others, have also visited to the mountainous district, according to Annapurna Conservation Area Manang Chief Leknath Gautam. The maximum number of foreign tourists arrived in the month of April, when 2,382 visitors were recorded, said Gautam. The Annapurna Trail is popular among the foreigners as it includes subtropical forest, famous trekking routes such as snow-capped Thorangla Pass, Larke Pass, and places such as world's highest altitude freshwater lake, Tilijo Lake, and holiest shrine Muktinath Temple and high mountains. On an average, around 77 foreign tourists are visiting Annapurna Trail on a daily basis since the onset of tourist season this spring. Lately, domestic tourists are also seen in Annapurna Trail, recognized as one of the top 10 incredible travel experiences in the world by Lonely Planet for 2021. And now, the news from economic front. In Nepal, only 30% of arable land has been irrigated. The information was shared at a press conference organized by the Nepal Agricultural Research Council in Kathmandu on Saturday on the occasion of its 31st anniversary. Executive Director of the Council, Dr. Deepak Bhandari, said that it is not easy to produce food grains due to lack of irrigated land. He also clarified that there should not be any delay in making proper arrangements for irrigation, fertilizer and technology to increase the production of paddy, wheat and maize in Nepal. Executive Director Bhandari also recalled that the budget allocated for irrigation was spent on the construction of embankment, but it was not possible to arrange irrigation in the cultivable land. The council has so far developed 723 varieties of 80 crops and reached the farmers' fields. Similarly, digital mapping of soil has been made public and a proposal has been put forward to introduce technology to store oranges and lemons in cold storage for 3 months, said Bhandari. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international news. Welcome back now to international news. All elderly people, women and children have been evacuated from the besieged Azovstal steelworks in Mariupol, Ukraine and Russia have announced. The operation began a week ago, coordinated by the UN and Red Cross, which have not confirmed the news. Ukrainian forces are holding out at the heavily bombarded plant, the last part of the city not under Russian control. Russia has besieged the plant for weeks, demanding the surrender of its defenders from the Azov battalion. The whereabouts of the evacuees are not yet clear, but Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister Iryna Vereshchuk said this part of the humanitarian operation was now complete. In the past, it has taken days for those evacuated to reach Ukrainian-held territory. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said more than 300 civilians had been rescued from the plant, although the Russian Defense Ministry gave a much lower number, saying 51 people had evacuated over a period of 3 days. Afghanistan's supreme leader has ordered the country's women to cover their faces in public, one of the hardest restrictions imposed on them since the Taliban seized power last year, and an escalation of growing restrictions on women that is drawing a backlash from the international community and many Afghans. They should wear a chadori, head-to-toe burqa, as it is traditional and respectful, said a decree issued by Taliban chief Haibatullah Akhundzada that was released by authorities at a function in Kabul on Saturday. A spokesman for the Ministry for the Propagation of Virtue and the Prevention of Vice read the decree from Akhundzada at a media conference, saying that a woman's father or closest male relative would be visited and eventually imprisoned or fired from government job if she did not cover her face outside the home. The spokesman added that the ideal face covering in the burqa, which became a global symbol of the Taliban's previous hardline rule from 1996 until 2001. Most women in Afghanistan wear a headscarf, but many in urban areas such as Kabul do not cover their faces. You are watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp cannot see Manchester City slipping up in the Premier League title race after this side dropped precious points at Anfield for the first time since October in a draw with Tottenham. The result takes Liverpool top on goal difference, but Pep Guardiola's side can move 3 points clear with 3 games remaining if they defeat Newcastle United on Sunday. Son Heung-min swept the counter-attacking visitors in front after 56 minutes following a link-up between Harry Kane and Ryan Sessegnon and when the Liverpool defence disorganised. Liverpool naturally flooded forward for an equaliser, but it took a heavily deflected shot from Luis Diaz. 16 minutes from time to pierce Spurs' packed defence and draw the home side level. Spurs continued to defend their resolution after the equaliser and were also a threat on the break as they battled to take something from the game and enhance their top 4 challenge. Manchester United suffered a humiliating defeat at the hands of a rampant Brighton at the Amex Stadium, a result that confirmed United would not qualify for next season's Champions League. Ecuador international Moises Caicedo put the host ahead with his first Premier League goal in only his 6th game with a low 55-yard strike after United's Alex Telles had failed to clear. The visitors in interim boss Raf Ragnick's penultimate game in charge before he is replaced by Erik ten Hag fell apart in the second half, conceding 3 goals in quick succession. Mark Kirkela fired into the roof for the net from Leandro Trossard to pull down for the second, with Trossard setting up Pascal Gross to calmly steer in a third. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin and the headlines once again. From Protect Democracy, Vice Chairman blames UML for citizenship-related problem. Political parties intensify election campaign, Election Commission to ensure code of conduct. Annapurna Circuit sees arrival of more European tourists. Domestic tourists are also rising. The area considered top 10 destinations in the world. Women and children evacuated from Azovstal steelworks in Mariupol. Ukrainian forces are still holding out the plant. And Liverpool shares scores with Spurs. City can top the table if they beat Newcastle today. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website, janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.